All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Monday, April 7th. We have just 2 NBA games to dive into in today's video like we always do. I'm going to go through each and every one of these games, so all 2 of them. I'm going to give you my prediction on the side. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye down on the pinned comment of this video. That'll take you to all of my final plays, so I'm actually rolling with myself. If that does interest you, it's absolutely free down in the pinned comment. All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. I tell you guys I'm a dummy all the time. They don't suck. They've just been sucking. Get them down to -3 for more juice than Jose Canseco in his prime. Tell me you're new without telling me you're new. So don't go jumping down my throat in the comments, right? If you want to fade me, or if you do want to ride me, this still leaves a bad taste in my mouth, right? And remember, more chins, more wins. So we were on a 7-0 run, and the Nuggets let us down last night. We had the same game parlay, the Nuggets money line, and the Pacers and Nuggets under 250.5. Unfortunately, that does not come through. So now we're on a 7-1 run. Something to cry about, right? But yeah, that 7-0, whatever streak, the blank and 0 streak was never going to last forever. But it was a good little run while it lasted. So hopefully we can get back on the win train tonight. That being said, our options are some slim pickings today. Again, 2 games to dive into, but I'm sure we'll find at least something that we like for today. The news doesn't get any better. Parlay Guru's right of the day streak. Gotta drop the womp womp on my man here. Jared Vanderbilt over 3.5 rebounds plus assists. Believe he finished with 2 and 1, so right at 3. The right of the day does not come through. And today's going to be a tough one to pick a new ride of the day, guys, because there's only 2 games. But if you don't know what the ride of the day is, it's simple. Just use that hashtag ride of the day or ROTD down in the comments. I jump on board with one person's play. Give you a shout out in the next video, win or loss. If you win, we continue to ride with your plays and continue to shout you out until you do end up losing. If you do lose, we got to talk about it. You still get the shout out. We get the drop. We have to drop the womp womp on you as well. But it's all fun and good there. We also post it over on my Twitter/X if you guys are interested in finding the ride of the days every single day. We post it with the final plays too on the Guy Boss's Sports site. So get those hashtag ride of the days in there. And again, it's going to be tough today. Some slim pickings because of the small slate. And before we do get into that small slate, I want to talk to you guys about Sleeper. Small slate, they're still hooking it up with a free square today. Cade Cunningham, 0.5 points. You also get the play $5, get 55 deal as of right now. So go ahead and check out Sleeper Picks, guys. That link will be down below in the description, as well as the pinned comment, or sign up using code GUYBOSTON. All right, let's go ahead and jump into game number 1. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We got Detroit taking on Sacramento. Sacramento takes the dub against Cleveland last night. They win that game by 7 as 9.5-point dogs on the road. Now they're on a back-to-back here, taking on Detroit. Sacramento in no rest situations, so back-to-back situations this season, has covered in just 20% of their games. So 1 out of every 5 they're covering in. Don't love their chances tonight against this Detroit squad, who has a 56% cover rate when they do have a rest advantage over their opponent. And Detroit, to me, though they've kind of looked a little meh lately, like they've played some tough teams. Their strength of schedule hasn't been the easiest here at the end of the season. They are a game back of the Bucks from the 5 seed, and I don't think that they have any risk of falling down. They're like 5 games up on the Magic as a 7 seed, so they're not a play-in team. But who knows? They might still be trying to go hard to try and see if they can shoot for that 5 seed. Now, this will kind of depend on injuries today. Both Tobias Harris and Jalen Duren are questionable. Jalen Duren's my biggest thing to look at in this one, because if we know anything about Sacramento, who we've definitely had our fair share of love towards this season, and love and hate relationship with them, they'll prioritize in the paint, right? They'll try and win the paint war, both offensively and defensively. We've seen that. We know that. If Jalen Duren doesn't play, I think that's going to be a big gaping void for this Detroit team. So if Duren plays, I don't mind Detroit. I think that they can win this one by 7.5. Sure, I guess. Maybe, we only have 2 games to pick from, but maybe that's some sort of a parlay piece where we look at them like -1.5, or maybe on the money line with something else. But yeah, if Duren plays, I don't mind the idea of this Sacramento team kind of being, I don't know, like being fought down low, right? If he doesn't, I do think Sacramento can cover this number, even though they're on a back-to-back, because that is going to be a massive, massive miss down there. And this is a team that already, likes to prioritize in the paint. They don't really shoot that many threes. They should be good from the mid-range. That's Detroit. One of Detroit's defensive weaknesses would be the mid-range. So if they can score in the mid-range, which they shoot more than anybody in the league because they have guys like, DeMar DeRozan, but also if they win the paint war, there could be some easy buckets here for the Sacramento squad. So yeah, it's all going to be hinging on that one guy. Now, good news is they do have Cade Cunningham. They do have Tim Hardaway. Some of these guys that prioritize the perimeter shooting as well, which is how you kind of get to Sacramento. So if you're thinking, okay, well, Dern's not going to be that big of a deal, they'll throw someone in there to cover it, then fine. Yeah, Detroit probably will win the perimeter, but they'll need to hit their shots. So not to put it all on the kid's shoulders, but if Duren plays, I like Detroit. If he doesn't, it's probably a stay away spot for me overall. Now, in terms of a total, Sacramento has been playing fairly slow, but we just saw a really, high-paced game against Cleveland, even though it ended up hitting the under. That finished at like 233, 234. Detroit, on the other side, their defense has been playing pretty well, and their offense has been kind of mediocre. I think 230 seems like it's a little bit too high for these two squads. We finished at 227 the other time they played this season, which was the day after Christmas. 114-113 win for Detroit. That was in Sacramento, though. So, yeah, I like the idea of an under here. Detroit, at home this year, 47% of their games have gone over, so 53 have hit the under, and then Sacramento, 45 have gone over, so 45%, so 55% have gone under. So I kind of like the under in this spot. From a player prop perspective, honestly, I want to see where these injuries kind of come out, to be honest, but I do think that Malik Beasley could have a decent game. This is a spot, and again, I kind of already emphasized the idea of the perimeter, so I think that he could have a decent game. I think his points line right now at 14.5 seems like it's a fair enough number. In terms of how he's played against Sacramento last time he played them, which was that one game this season, he had 22 points. Now, he played 27 minutes. Are we going to definitely get 27 minutes out of him? Hopefully, he's been playing 30-ish minutes per game, right? So I like the idea of him to score 15 points. We just really do want to make sure that the minutes are going to be there for him. So Malik Beasley in points is definitely something that I would consider. I think he's going to have the attempts. I mean, he's shooting the ball, 15 times per game, even when he comes off the bench and whatnot. If Tobias Harris doesn't play, not that they're the same position, but that could be a few more field goal attempts his way as well, right? So that'd be a player prop that I look at, and that would be Jalen Duren independent. All right, next game up, we have Miami taking on Philadelphia. In terms of the standings in this one, Miami, a game out of the 9 seed. They are the 10 seed, but they really have no risk of dropping out of the play-in. So you sit here and you do wonder if that's going to matter all that much to them. They've lost 2 straight games after winning, I believe it was 5 or 6 in a row. Philadelphia is just, again, they're a team that has thrown in the towel. They're coming off a loss to Minnesota. Miami's coming off of lost to Milwaukee. In terms of these two teams playing, we did see a recent-ish matchup. In fact, a couple of them, at least February and on, and Miami won both of those. They're both in Philadelphia. Now you have Miami at home, which should give them a little bit of a boost. They've covered in 54% of their games here at home. But 14.5 points does seem like an awful lot, doesn't it? I do think Bam Adebayo is in a good spot here. If he gets to start at the power forward, which we expect him to, this is a Philadelphia team that has allowed over the last 7 games the 5th most points, the 2nd most rebounds, and the most assists to that power forward position. So I do think that Bam Adebayo player props, maybe even if just the PRA could be a look. I kind of get concerned, I guess, a little bit with the idea of what if Milwaukee's smoking them and blowing them out and that type of thing? So keep that in mind. But that'd be a first spot that I look at. Even if you just go like 20-plus points from him, I think you can get a decent line still as of right now if you just want to pick one category. But again, minutes could be somewhat of a concern here. I don't mind the idea of Miami minus the points, but I think the way that we'd probably wrap this into an actual, final play would be if Jalen Duren gets ruled in for Detroit, right? Now we can start to work with some sort of a Detroit and Miami, the 2 better teams, the 2 home teams, the 2 teams that have something to play for. I guess Sacramento does as well. I should have, kind of mentioned that. They're right in the midst there of being the 9-10 seed, but still, the 2 home teams, the 2 better teams, I do think that we could work some sort of a slimy parlay between those 2 on the money line. So maybe that is of consideration, but again, 2 games on the board. Do we really want to force anything today? I already talked about Malik Beasley. I think that has a strong chance of being a final play. Bam Adebayo may have a stronger chance, in this game as well. But one spot that I am considering in terms of a final play, independent of anything else, would be the over in this spot. Now, if we look at Philadelphia's defense, in the last 10 games, let me just read through their final scores, right? 114, 120, or points allowed. 114, 126, 105, 127. Played Miami, lost 118 to 95, but that 118 is important. 119, 112, 132, 128, 133. So they're allowing a ton of points. Miami, on the other hand, yeah, their defense is fairly stout, looking pretty good. But I do still think that this is a very, very low number. If we look at these two teams in terms of their matchup against one another, we'll find plenty of games that get at least close to this number or go over the number. If you want to kind of get a little bit more conservative, maybe Miami team total over 113. So over 113 and a half for them to go out there and score that. They've done that. They've averaged, I believe, 108 against this Philadelphia team, but on the road that jumps up really high to like 112. So again, getting really close to that number. But ultimately, this is a Philadelphia team that is just like, go ahead, score. Ole defense, that type of thing, right? And you know how I feel about some of these teams that have the younger guys playing that don't usually play. That's kind of Philadelphia's roster as of right now. These are guys that most likely are trying to run. Now, we didn't even mention injuries. There is a ton of questionables. Wiggins and Hero and Burks, all that backcourt, all questionable for Miami, so we'll see if they play. I almost expect them to, but if they don't, Bam's number looks even better, and I also think the over would look even better because we're going to have more and more of those fill-in guys kind of running it up. So give me Miami as well as the over, but then Bam. But guys, I hate to do it. I know it's a quick video today because only 2 games, but we're not going to have that many plays. And I know a lot of people come here being like, oh, what are the plays? Like, at some point, we got to be smart and responsible and understand that a 2-game slate and 2 games, we can't force anything, right? So we have to love it if we're going to roll with it today, and we'll see what we end up loving. So keep an eye on the final plays. That's all I have for you guys in today's video. Get those hashtag ride of the days down in there. Go ahead and comment 11 if you made it this far. I'm curious to see who a real one is, who are the real ones out there that even on a short slate, on a mediocre slate, 2-game slate of 2 mediocre games, I should say, stuck around for the entire video. Appreciate the hell out of it if you did. Catch you guys in the next one, right? Peace out.